Good. How are you?
I'm having the best time ever. Friday nights are always fun for me. How about you?
Same.
Welcome back, and
Thank you.
everybody. It's Brianna does interesting orchestrations, if I will, for a soloist, and we're going to learn a little bit more about how this is all put together here a little later in the show. But right now, we're just going to jump in and play a song.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
chills running up and down your spines as well?
So cool. Just so cool.
Brianna Tam here, live in the studio. Wonderful. And welcome back, by the way. You were here shortly, briefly, several months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. Time is a blur.
I remember it was summer. It was very hot, but Brianna was in here for a single song, a quick promo for a gig over at Yonder right across the street, and we had a fantastic time.
You know, we've almost everybody who comes in here, and we've been here for 6 years and had hundreds of acts. Everybody has a website, and they have these reviews on their website that with all this blah blah blah, they're wonderful, they're great. Brianna's website, BriannaTam.com. First review is Brianna Tam likes to play barefoot. Well, and
See,
in fact, she
that's
does.
basically why we have her in the studio, because she's barefoot.
You never know how your musical career is going to evolve, but sometimes it's kismet or just luck, and we're thankful that it is. That. Do I understand that you were late signing up for violin, and all of a sudden got pushed into cello land?
Exactly. I missed the deadline for signing up to play violin at my school, and so I ended up getting stuck on cello or viola, and I picked the cello.
It
Yeah,
was
and
a good
so
choice.
And how were you
Yes.
like real disappointed in?
A little bit, because I actually didn't know what a cello was. So I went to the music store and I was expecting something similar to a violin, and they gave me this very large instrument, and I'm like, this is not at all what I signed up for.
And you tried to hold it up, and it was like
No, but it was just heavy, and yeah, it was not what I expected. But obviously, I've grown to accept it and enjoy it.
It's a lot to lug around.
Yes.
a classic cello, but this magical piece of instrument that you have now is like the essence of cello, but it's in a much smaller form factor. It looks much easier to transport.
It's actually about the same weight.
Really?
Yes. There's a whole electrical system in the back here.
Oh, right.
And I think that accounts for a lot of the weight. The actual cello, like a classical cello, is really hollow. So it's not actually too heavy. It's just really bulky.
Everybody, if you want to know what we're talking about, get out there. We're streaming, and tell
We are.
everybody where they can see the live video happening right now and see this very cool cello.
At WHUP Pass the Hat, WHUP Pass the Hat on our streaming services, which are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You find us at WHUP Pass the Hat, WHUP Pass the Hat, and you will find our live stream there and see this fantastic cello.
Well, and I think some people may be looking at it and saying, I've never seen one of those before. And they may be wondering, is that a custom instrument, or is that something you can go out and buy, or you order it? Like, how do you get something like that?
Well, this instrument itself I got from the electric violin shop in Durham, so actually right down the street. The things I had custom done to it was I had the neck a little thinner, so my hands are pretty small. So my traditional cello, I actually had that neck shaved a little bit as well, just to make it more comfortable for me. I also have 2 pegs rather than 4.
I was
Oh,
noticing that, and I was curious
interesting.
how that works.
So these 2, if you look closely, have holes in them. So there's like a little Allen key that I have. And so if I need to tune these 2 strings, I can stick the Allen key in there and use that to tune it.
Is that so it doesn't bump you in the ear as you're
Yeah,
playing?
right, yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
How interesting.
Well, we're going to learn a lot more about these other things that you have brought with you here in a minute, but we want to get as much music in as we can. So if you'd be so kind.
Yes. So this next track is an original. This one's called Growth, and is actually the title track from my album Growth. So I hope you enjoy it.
An original composition, Brianna Tam, Growth, from your album Growth, which was released a year or two ago.
About a year ago, February.
Just yeah, speechlessness kind of stuff. This is really fantastic. So,
Thank you.
you took up cello in school.
Yes.
Where
They don't teach this in band.
No.
Right.
No.
So something happened. Some switch flipped somehow in your head at some point, and you got a loop pedal and managed that magical timing that very few people can get with a loop pedal to give us this wonderful wall of sound with a cello. Which I was saying before we started the live stream that cello is just magical for me to begin with, but to get all of these layers coming at me, it's just fantastic. What was the genesis of this to go from playing cello in an orchestra to being a solo act with this wall of sound?
Well, the short version is that I ended up doing classical until I was seriously until I was about 21.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to conservatory and basically a college for
Right.
classical cello. And then I dropped out, and I knew I wanted to do something different. I used to listen to a lot of like cello metal sort of videos on YouTube when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah, so I just knew I wanted to do something, and I love to arrange things, and I love to just write and create different things that were not necessarily strictly classical. And so once I got out of school, I dropped out of school, I was gifted an electric cello, and then I also bought a loop pedal, a smaller version of this one, around the same time. And I just kind of took off with it, just started messing around and creating all these layers, because I always had these kind of arrangements and these ideas on my head, but didn't really have a means to do it by myself, because you always needed other people around you in order to create what you had in your head. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. And you did mention my introduction to Brianna Tam was catching a piece of your act over across the street at Yonder with kind of a funk/hip-hop band, and I had never thought of cello as a funk/hip-hop instrument, but it fit perfectly.
Thank you.
So I gather a lot of that was your instrumentation, your orchestration.
You mean in the band?
In
or
the
just-
band, yes.
Yeah.
Brianna,
Yeah.
for people who don't know, and many don't, tell us briefly what a loop pedal is and how it works. And
So loop pedal is just like any guitar pedal, except when you press a button, you can instruct it to record, and then you press the button again and you instruct it to stop recording. So that's like your span of time, if that makes sense. And then if you keep recording, then it records within that span of time. So let's say you have like a 10-second loop. Every time you record, it's going to be within that 10 seconds, and you can create like layers and loops upon that. The one that I have is a little fancier, so I have 3 separate sets of tracks I can control. So I can add layers and take them away as I want to.
well, the music becomes very complex and intricate, and are you and you come from a traditional background? Have you scored this out, or these different parts are just you've memorized them in your head?
One thing I was good at in classical was memorizing. So I'd memorize things very quickly. The problem with that was that I usually had the music in my head before I had it in my fingers. So I had more ideas than I could communicate. But yeah, so I usually just memorize it and kind of create it in my head. If it's more complicated, I might write it down just to begin with, but I usually don't commit to finishing the written product. So I've had people ask me for sheet music, and it's like, I don't have it. Sorry.
It makes sense though why you're playing barefoot though, because you're using your feet as
Yes.
parts of the instrument to lead the loop pedals. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I know guitar players, or most guitar players, will wear shoes on stage. I just don't like having a barrier between my feet and what I'm controlling.
Right.
It's like I wouldn't wear gloves while playing cello. So,
Right.
yeah, even in that last thing I just played, there was one track that I thought was a little too loud, so I learned to turn the knobs with my toes, like my big toe, to lower the volume, which is not what you're supposed to be doing, but I don't really want to bend down and,
That
adjust the
requires
volume.
It
dexterity.
works.
It does. And this whole business about what you're supposed to be doing, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're
Thank you.
creating something that someone else is going to want to do down the
I
line.
hope so.
And what I got out of that previous conversation was that if we go and hear Brianna Tam play a song 3 times in a row, it might not necessarily be the same song
No.
because it's not written down. It's what you're feeling in your head, and you're going to make it happen maybe slightly differently each time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
If
think
you
that-
ever need to score this stuff out, there's software now that you can play this in. It'll
Oh,
score
Oh,
it
yeah,
for
it'll
you,
score it
I
out for
believe,
you.
yeah. But no reason to do that
It's
because
gonna
that removes the spontaneity,
people at work.
as Bob just said.
Yeah, I like the spontaneity and the differentness. It's like most good jazz music, you can't write it down because it's improvisational.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic of it.
You got the electronic cello, and but did you envision at that time that it would open this whole world for you, or you sort of stumbled on things like loop pedal a little bit at a time?
I can't say that I knew, but I did feel like there was like before I got the electric cello part of my life, and then there's after I got the electric cello.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt that when I received it. So I don't think I knew what that meant, but I knew that it was significant.
Well, it was definitely meant to happen, and we're delighted to have you here and can't wait to hear what you're going to play for us next.
Thank you. So this next song is another original. This one is called Circularity, and it has more of like a hip-hop kind of cinematic influence. So actually my boyfriend is a beat maker, and he came out with a ukulele one day. He's like, oh, this is kind of cool, and he did. And I had my loop pedal out, and that's how Circularity came to be. So I do have to credit my boyfriend for coming up with the lick that created this song. Hope you enjoy it.
Wow.
All of the wows. Brianna Tam.
As
Here.
I was watching you play that,
WHUP LP Hillsboro.
You are listening to Pass the Hat.
where we've lost all track of time.
We have lost all track of time, and we blame Brianna Tam for this.
You know what I was thinking as I was watching that? It was two things. One was we ask a lot of our artists when they come in about. Sounds like you were supported with music when you were growing up. You were encouraged to take up stringed instrument, and then when you went in this direction, how did your family respond?
They were actually pretty supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom's a big fan of Lindsay. Actually, both my parents are a big fan of like two cellos and Lindsay Sterling and those kind of people.
That helps a lot.
How wonderful.
Yeah, so they're pretty supportive of neoclassical sort of styles.
Brianna, this is the time of our show where we need to give a shout out to our sponsor.
Of course.
And there's something over there by your chair there that we will ask you to hold up in a spokesmodel sort of
It's
way.
almost as big as her cello.
It weighs as much as
It
the cello.
really does.
So this is the point in the show where we remind you that support for Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina, purveyors of the finest chocolates on the East Coast, if not in the country. Just fantastic. Not only is it the best chocolate you've ever had, but it is so artistically created. You cannot, on the live stream, you cannot appreciate the marvelousness that this purple iridescent 1 pound candy bar is, but it is just fantastic. And everything Matthew does is exactly like that. He will not let it leave the shop unless it is perfect. Y'all, get over there, find Matthew's Chocolates, get your Christmas gifts there because you can't find anything better. And Brianna, can you read what the contents of that up from the label?
Rum raisin, a medley of raisin soaked in plantation 5-year aged bourbon, rum, Barbados rum, and
Whoa.
dark Belgian chocolate.
That sounds terrible.
Barbados rum.
Barbados rum, yes.
Awesome. Well, Matthew, as always, thank you very much.
Yeah, he really hit a home run with this one. That one sounds fantastic, and it looks fantastic. So, yay.
And it kind of goes with your outfit. That was
Oh, that's how
Good
about that?
timing.
It does,
Good-
doesn't it?
good
I
planning.
actually got a huge bug bite on my thigh, so that's why I'm wearing looser pants today.
Brianna, out on your website, BRIANNA TAM.com, people can access your release that Kim alluded to, right?
Yes.
And also can download tracks from the traditional places, I guess.
Mhm.
And do we have new recordings in the works?
Maybe.
Oh, it's a secret. Oh, it's being coy.
Yes.
So we just have to stalk Brianna Tam at briannatam.com.
Her agent will not let her divulge prematurely the upcoming creative products.
Are you allowed to say, though, when you might be playing again live in the area?
This Thursday, I'll be in Greensboro at Lewis and Clark Wine Bar.
Oh, fantastic.
I have a lot of things coming up. I can't think of them right now.
Check out on the website.
Yeah,
So I'm
we
gonna
love
be-
to hear that you're busy.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Charlottesville, I think the first week of November, and then Greenville, South Carolina the next weekend, and then I think Wilmington the following weekend.
Listening
I'm
to this.
actually on your website, and you got all kinds of
Oh my
great
gosh.
stuff lined
I've
up.
done all of those, so I hope it looks good.
So I'm wondering, listening to this music, if you've been approached by any film people, because the soundtrack
Oh, there's soundtrack in there for sure.
opportunities
Mhm, for
here,
sure.
and so you say you have.
Absolutely. So there's two elements of that. So I was recommended by a friend to check out artlist.com, and it's kind of like Epidemic Sounds in that film and video producers can get royalty-free music, so they don't have to worry about getting sued for using somebody's
Mhm.
music. So I actually put my album on that website, and I've gotten, I think, I have not checked the numbers recently, but it's a lot of downloads.
Oh, nice.
And I get like messages all the time like, hey, I used your song in this video. And it's always interesting to see the same songs with different videos, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
The other part is I actually recently just filmed a music video, and that came from working with someone who used one of my songs in a film festival. They ended up winning the film festival, and they're advancing to another round. And I
Nice.
think if they win that one, they could be, is it Oscar nominated? I think.
Nice.
Wow.
So
if
you
they
have
win,
you have
then-
credits on there.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm excited, and that is super well deserved as well.
Thank you.
This is a thoroughly enjoyable show this Friday evening. I'm having a blast. Are you guys having a blast?
It
too?
is, and I would like to sit back and listen to more of this
Yeah.
movie.
Okay. So this next track is another original. This one is called Waiting, and it's my most popular track on Spotify, which is actually kind of funny, and I'll explain why after I play it. So hope you enjoy it.
Brianna Tam with your most popularly streamed song on Spotify. What's the story on that?
So I was thinking about writing my first album, and it wasn't even an idea really. It was just kind of, oh, maybe I should release something. And I would just like mess around for a long time with the loop pedal, and I had a lot of ideas, but nothing quite concrete. And then one day I started playing that, and I deleted the video, which is really stupid, but I have the video of me just playing like pretty much exactly that, all in one take. And that was it. That was the song. And I haven't changed much from that original recording, and I can't believe I deleted the video.
Ouch.
But yeah.
You know, I'm curious, and we'll get into this a little bit more in the last half hour of the show, as folks will find out. But what do you listen to when you're not making music?
Right now, I don't listen to a whole lot because I'm playing all the time.
It takes a lot of time, right?
Yes. The funny thing is, I've taken a lot of time away from classical, and now I find myself going back to some classical music for some inspiration, now that I've had some like healthy distance from it.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to just about anything and everything. You know, I have a lot of clients for session work. So it might be hip hop, might be R&B, just all sorts of different genres. So I'll try to listen to like their type of music just to kind of get oriented with like what they're doing. How
about when you were a kid? What sort of music worked for you? What kind of stuff were you listening to?
How young?
Early teenager, 14
Really?
years old.
Okay. Well, I was listening to a group called Apocalyptica, and they're a cello Metallica cover band, basically. So they do.
Y'all go out and Google this because it sounds awesome.
Go for it. But they did a cover of One by Metallica, amongst other things. And that like just blew my mind when I was like learning classical
listening.
cello.
This is the number one Metallica fan right here to my right.
Stop. She's
So I actually
hired for
did
all
a
the
cover of One a
parties.
while ago just to honor that part of my life. So I was listening to them. I was also listening to Tina Guo. She's another big electric cellist, and she's like worked with Hans Zimmer and a lot of film score type people. Yeah. And her style is kind of different from mine, but it was really inspiring as a kid to see like a very good classical cellist. She also dropped out of school, which was just a coincidence, but she's a very good cellist, and she started doing electric cello when it wasn't a thing at all, like before two cellos, before Lindsey Sterling. So she's kind of a badass, and she's pretty cool. So definitely check her out.
But cello has really kind of ruled your life for quite a while then,
Yes.
Not just in what you were playing, but what you were listening to as well.
Well, I was trying to find a way to make it relatable to other people.
Sure.
So my brothers played a lot of Guitar Hero, and so I heard a lot of rock songs, like older rock songs from that, and that led me to like wonder, can I do rock and electric cello, or just like somehow cello, not electric. Can I somehow fuse the two to make it something approachable but still sophisticated and still respectable, like some middle ground. So.
And it sounds like you're staying very busy. You live here in North Carolina, am I right about that?
Yes.
So you've enjoyed lots of opportunity and are staying incredibly busy right here in North Carolina, although it sounds like you probably travel and you do a lot of digital collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing that, and I hope that people are hearing that you can be an enormous talent like Brianna Tam and be right here in North Carolina and still enjoy these great opportunities. You don't have to move to New York. You don't have to move to LA.
Exactly.
You can bust yourself out right here, and that's really inspiring for a lot of people to hear. Awesome.
But this is a hotbed of talent. The Triangle area here in North Carolina. You landed in the right place, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's just lousy with amazingly talented people. And Brianna is kind of cream of the crop here. But everywhere. And we've been doing this here, 6 years here on the show, and it's never a bad show. Always fantastic stuff coming in for us. I'm having a wonderful time. Can you play some more music?
Sure. How much time do I have?
Like 14 and a half minutes or so.
14 and a half.
Not to be specific, but it's like 13 minutes. And
Gotcha. Well, I'll play 2 more, I think. So there's this one that's not finished yet, but I'm trying to. It's turning into something, and every time I play it, people really like it. But I'm just kind of making it up. So I'm basically going to be improvising around this sort of, I guess, bass line. And hopefully it turns into something good. So
I'm pretty sure it will.
We like these type.
Yep.
Okay.
She said that was new and unfinished. I don't believe
Yeah,
her.
that was a mess.
I can't
So
believe
many
we played that
comments.
on the radio.
Very nice.
That
Can
was,
I-
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I wanted. Can I ask a stupid question?
Okay.
And I ask as someone who doesn't know very much about orchestral instruments. I know about the fiddle because a bunch of my friends play it, and I didn't really watch you set up. And I know it's an electric cello. Do you do things like rosin your bow? And is your bow made of the stuff that a traditional bow is made of?
Yes, this is
Is it-
actually. I recently broke my bow.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
actually
Those things are stupid expensive.
They are stupid expensive. So I'm trying a new bow right now that's stupid expensive. So yeah, this is just a regular bow with horse tail hair,
Mm-hmm.
and then rosin, like you would for a normal cello.
It's an electric cello, but do you use standard electric cello strings, or do they have to be?
Oh, the strings?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah, just normal, same strings.
same strings.
I've actually thought about getting a nice bow for recording, and then like kind of a backup bow for performing, just in case I drop it and break it again. So
Do you think there's special horses raised?
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
With
where's
special
that
tails.
horse?
Well, it's curious. You mentioned that one of the premier bow reherring, is that what they call it? Bow reherring
It is now.
firms
Luthier?
on the East Coast is in Raleigh. Is
Yes.
that where you had it?
Castlewood's?
Yes.
that's actually where I'm trying this bow from. So
Oh.
And it's not just the hair of the bow, but the wood has to be super strong and very dense in order to carry the resonance. It's often a hardwood Pernambuco out of Brazil that
Yes.
is embargoed, and you can't get it anymore except in little tiny pieces, just luckily enough, large enough to make a bow out of.
I was actually searching for bows around the pandemic, and it was very difficult because they weren't importing wood from Brazil into
Right.
America. So
It's all
Wow.
this rainforest depletion issue. They have to control the wood, and for very good reasons. We have to protect our planet, protect our rainforests. But
They are
Yeah.
finding trees that are down that they're able to use.
absolutely.
Yeah, that have that still have the heartwood that's still workable. So, well, I don't know whether you're happy with that bow or not, but we're very happy with it.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I'm all about saving the rainforest too. So
Yeah.
Well, in fact, you mentioned that on your website. I think down there, somewhere near the bottom, it says, "What are Brianna Tam's goals?" And I like that it talks about Brianna Tam in the third
Yep.
person, and it basically says, "I'm not here for fame and fortune. I'm here for saving the planet." And
Yes.
helping to get people to live a more realistic life and a little more honest life,
Yes.
and making sure we can have future generations.
I know in guitar building, in the high-end guitar building, a lot of fine work being done with sustainable woods,
Sure.
woods like maple and even pine with electric guitars and local woods like walnut and things. And so and a lot of it is just the skill of the luthier, not necessarily the wood itself. So,
Fair point.
well, we had talked about one more song, I think.
yes.
Will
How
you
much-
play us another one, please?
How much time?
Oh, it's your show.
We officially to the end of the live stream, we have like 2.5 minutes, but it's basically your show until
Yeah.
the top of the hour. If you wanted to play
Okay.
live music for another 33 minutes, that's fine.
I'll do one more. This one's a little longer than the time you just said, but
It's fine.
yeah. This one's called Intrepid, and it's my second most popular track, but it's my favorite. So,
Yay.
and it's actually the one that I'm doing the music video for.
Great.
I am so in love with this music.
This is fantastic. This has been such a great show.
This is the soundtrack of everything that I do in my life from now on. I'm just going to play Brianna Tam. If I'm working the sawmill, yeah, Brianna Tam's in my headphones. If I'm just banging on the keyboard for my day job, Brianna Tam's in my headphones.
All yoga, all day, all Brianna
I was about
Tam.
to say this is can be yoga music too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's thank you so much.
Thank you. I can actually do one more, which is a film score.
Yes.
Okay.
Do whatever you want to. It's the Brianna Tam show.
Bob, do you know what that was?
What was that?
That was the theme show to Game of Thrones. That's like one of the most famous cello themes you ever heard.
I feel like a bad person because I've seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh my, no,
I'm the only person in the universe who has not seen the entire series.
I haven't either.
Oh, I'm so obsessed with that show. I missed not one episode.
Oh, really?
That was, so that brought me immense joy to hear that. Thank you for playing it.
Of course.
I can't.
Thank you for having
I've
me.
never heard anyone play it.
As epically as that? Of course not.
Well, it's an epic song, and what's amazing is you played all the parts, and she played it like it was supposed to be done.
And you have been listening to the Brianna Tam show here on Pass the Hat for the last little bit more than an hour. Learn more at BriannaTam.com because, boy howdy, you need to learn more. You need to stalk her, listen to all of her music. She's got all kinds of great shows coming up in Greensboro, in Charlottesville, in Charlotte, in Wilmington. Just get out there to BriannaTam.com, hit the event schedule, and you will be happy.
But also, you say on your website that you do events, you do private events.
Yes.
If you have an event at which you need instrumental music like this,
You
hire
need
her.
music like this.
Yeah, this is amazing because it's original, it's classy, it's beautiful. She's lovely. She's going to show up, looking like she belongs there. So hire her.
Totally. Well, this is the point of the show where we turn off the live stream and you wave goodbye to the live stream. And we remind folks that folks listening to the live stream, the show isn't over. We continue on WHUPFM.org or 104.7 FM if you happen to be in Hillsboro.